often been here, and he has been a friend of mine for many, many years. He is a man of vision, and he has instituted a program that is very, very helpful. For one official, he is coming with the news that there is money that may be available to you if you have forgotten it or lost it, and this is an opportunity to reclaim it. So, as usual, Treasurer Rutherford, we welcome you to Marion and Southern Illinois.
Mayor, I appreciate it. Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. Great. This just goes someplace then. Is that all right there? Is it okay there? Mayor, I appreciate it. Thank you. In fact, I was just in Marion about, what, 3 or 4 days ago. I was down here. I didn't get a chance to see you, but I did spend a little money in your community, ate at your restaurants, filled up my tank with gas, and we did stay at our friend's place at the Econo Lodge. So, appreciate it very much. I've been here to Williamson County a lot, and of course my friends in other surrounding counties, everything from Perry to Jackson and so forth. But I really appreciate your kind words. I guess I hadn't realized about the other constitutional officers and the frequency of, or lack thereof, of being here in Southern Illinois. So I just want you to know I'm glad to be here this time as opposed to other times when we came down here for the tornado, and then later came into Marion when we flew in here to go on down for the floods and so forth. So these are good reasons to be back here, and I just want you to know, Mayor, I appreciate it. Thank you for all your leadership. I'm from Pontiac, Illinois, and I'm the Illinois State Treasurer. I have the good fortune to represent a program called iCash, which is made up of $1.5 billion worth of property and assets and cash that actually belong to other people. It's not the treasurers. I am not, the taxpayers are not the owners. We are holding it to try to find it to put back into hands of people that rightfully own it, or if they have passed away, the estates for those individuals. And I think the two best examples I can give you of how property becomes under my stewardship would be an example of, say, Grandma opened up a lockbox at a financial institution and put in a gold coin and Grandpa's stamp collection. After a number of years, Grandma moved to a nursing home, and Grandma passed away. Well, the family didn't know about the lockbox, and for 5 years, the bank had been trying to reach the family or Grandma to get paid for the, the deposit for the bank, but also to return the property. If they can't find them, by law, they're obligated to turn it over to me, the state treasurer. Another example, maybe Guggen here goes off to college, has an apartment, puts money down as a deposit with the utility company, finishes school, comes back home, doesn't leave a mail forwarding. Well, now the utility company's got the deposit. If they can't find him, obligation to turn it over to me. So what we have done when I became the treasurer is decide that we're going to be extremely aggressive. We want to put this money back in the hands of the public as much as we can. And there is availability on the internet at the state treasurer's website to go to the iCash tab. You can go to icash.illinois.gov and you can search your name, a family member's name. I encourage you to look at maiden names or individuals that have passed away, a great-grandparent, a grandparent, or relative. So what happened in 2011, my first year in office, we really pushed hard. In fact, so much so that in 2011, for the first time in the history of the state, we were able to return over $100 million. So Mayor, think about that, $101 million that went back into the purses and wallets and pocketbooks of people of Illinois that didn't even know they had it coming. And that was a 23% increase over 2010. So what I determined was we need to be even more aggressive. I want to return this year, again, another 23 or better % increase from previous years. So we're hoping to get well into the $125 million to return to people. So the couple of ways that you do that. One is you do an aggressive marketing program, which we are now doing. And I want to quickly highlight to all of us, in particular our director of the library here, let me start off by saying thank you for letting us use your wonderful facility. And you are also a steward of tax dollars and donations, as am I. So we are very careful. All of this promotion for iCash the tablecloth, the computers, the boards, the staff time, all of the promotion, the marketing we're doing, none of that is paid for out of tax dollars. That is not your tax dollars being paid using that. It is the, in simplest of terms, it's the interest off of the portfolio that I'm holding that pays for. In simplest of terms, there's a little more complication, but that's the easiest for, at least for my explanation to understand it. So we've done a very aggressive marketing program, and the other thing we've done is we have been very aggressive at coming out into the field. We've gone into communities, just like we're doing right here in Marion, and like we did in Hillsborough yesterday, and like we will do and have done in other parts of the state, to go out, let it be known we're going to be here, invite people that perhaps would like to go through a search to come in, we'll help them. Or if they perhaps knew about it, but had some questions and technical, as opposed to perhaps doing it over the phone or driving up to Springfield, we have trained professional staff here to help them. What we find is that when we do this in a community, about 20 to 25% of the people that come here will either find their name or family member's name that have assets that they didn't even know about. Two other things that I would like to highlight is the fact that if one has checked their name in the past, we encourage them to do it again every few months. And the reason is, one, just a couple months ago, we added 780,000 more names in the searchable database. And that came, 780,000, almost, can you imagine that? That came about because there were names that were not in the searchable database. For my predecessor treasurers, the technology didn't exist for them to match it to searchable to put it in the database. I made a business decision. I said, how much will it cost with the technology we have capable to us today? My staff told me, not out of taxpayer money. I made the decision to do it. So now there's 780,000, so we're up to 11 million records searchable in the database. The second point to look every now and then throughout the year is every month I add an average of $25 million more of inventory and assets. Okay, let me, I'll go to questions here in one moment. No, I'll tell you what, let's take it, we got about a 3-minute video. Craig, would you go ahead and play that, and then afterwards I'll bring it to closure and go to questions. In Chicago today, that we now have found one woman who has $65,000 she did not know was sitting out there. And we are going through the paperwork to make sure that that's all properly prepared, but she will be getting a check for $65,000. And, isn't that great?
Great.
And here in Williamson County, here, just addresses in Williamson County, there are just at 20,000 names in this county alone. And the total cash and assets I'm holding with the Williamson County address, $3.6 million. So that means there's $3.6 million with searchable names of about 20,000, maybe not different people, because some persons may be in there more than once, 20,000 that they don't even know is theirs. And that's the reason, in part, I'm here with my friend Mayor Butler in Marion, in Williamson County, to encourage people to please discover what's yours. All right, that said, do you have any questions on, why don't we stick to this subject, and then we can recess this if you want to go into other subjects. So is there anything on iCash? Sir?
Can you assess what impact this has on the economy, getting this money not being spent rather than sitting?
You know, that's a very, very good point. I can only do it by examples. You know, I mean, one woman, the largest that I've been able to award back to an individual substantiated was $127,000. And, you know, in part, where do you go with that? And we saw the people that you saw in the video, those are real live people that actually had cash come. They weren't actors. We didn't ask them to play. They were real people. So one nice lady went out and bought a car. Another gentleman had money. He was going to take his soon-to-be fiance out for dinner, and the other gentleman took care of his pit bulls. So you see this money coming in, and you know, I think one of the nice ladies here was talking. She's found that she had about $10 coming. Well, you know what? That's 10. Are you the one that had the $10? Okay, that's $10. It's your $10. And I don't know what you're going to do with it, but you might go out and spend it someplace, and in doing that, that'll help the economy. I know that some of these larger returns, they're going to put it into assets for their kids of the future. Let me just tell you that the economic impact of returning $101 million into the economy without a tax increase without borrowing the money in government, without going out and having to do an economic impact statement, without having to go and do an environmental impact statement, is absolutely, I think, the right thing to do.
Do you guys notice that there's particular regions of the state where there's more unclaimed property than maybe in another part?
No, we find it kind of, I mean, it's pretty proportional. Now, obviously, I mean, and we can appreciate the density of population. There's more people just by sheer density. But no, as far as a region of the state, no. I will tell you though, and you guys will appreciate this, you check your names too, because I did a thing like this in a smaller rural community, and the reporter stuck the camera, the microphone under my nose, and he said, how can anybody be so irresponsible with their money to not know where it is? And I said, well, Carl, that's just not the case. I mean, and I gave him the examples of how this just can happen. You just, it just happens. So I turned to Craig's counterpart, and I said, well, look up Carl's name, just for kicks. Well, here's this reporter that asked how anybody could be so irresponsible. His name was in there 3 times. I thought he was going to melt. So you know what I did? I took that microphone and stuck it under his nose, and I said, well, now, Mr. Carl, what does it feel like to be so irresponsible with your money and have the state treasurer here help you try to get it back? Okay, and then, so, being the treasurer of the state of Illinois isn't always a happy time. I mean, it's pretty stressful. It's pretty financially stressed state. Okay, so I asked my staff, I said, give me a happy day. Give the treasurer a happy day. So they gave me a list of 10 people who had filed their claims, had not been substantiated to them that it was their rightful match, and all they knew was it was over $100. But all 10 of these people were over $10,000. So the treasurer had a happy day. I dialed 9 people. State Treasurer Dan Rutherford, just want to tell you, I get to the 10th phone call, dial it, hello, whatever the nice lady's name was. I go, this is Dan Rutherford. She goes, yes. I go, I'm the Illinois State Treasurer. She goes, uh-huh. I said, well, I just want to tell you, it was pretty obvious she just did not want to talk to me. So I said, well, this is Dan Rutherford. I said it fast before she hung up on me. I go, this is Illinois State Treasurer Dan Rutherford. I just want to tell you that I have substantiated your claim for $127,000. Dead silence. And then she goes, who is this again? So I should have told her it was Ed McMahon, but I didn't. I didn't have the heart to do that. So as the treasurer of Illinois, I do have my happy days, and my happy days are helping people get the money back that's rightfully theirs. Any other questions or comments on this subject matter? Okay, well, why don't we take a break on that? And thank you all for coming out here. And all of you reporters, check your name before you go. Maiden names, family members' names, someone who's passed away, because you may be that next Carl that just can't believe that you left something out there. So, all right, thanks much.